Welcome to another edition of the Booze Briefing, where I get to answer your dumbass questions about my books, Joe's The Cold War Diaries, Volume 1 and 2, with Volume 3 on the way and in the works, and a little bit different drink selection today. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I've done one of these videos, and unfortunately we had the weather, big winter storm, and and then I got like some flu type stuff going on, so I had to switch to the old hot toddy. If you're familiar with the hot toddy, right? Great sort of folk legend drink to help whatever ails you. But then I had an epiphany. Usually you'll steep some tea, green tea or something, and you'll put bourbon in there, a little honey, a little lemon juice, whatever. You can do different takes on it. And it's a nice hot drink, great in the wintertime, great in the fall, whether you're sick or not, to be honest with you. But I happen to eye this bottle. This is Captain Morgan Private Stock Premium Barrel Spiced Rum. Now, I'm not a big rum guy. If it's in a drink, somebody's making some kind of, tropical thing, it's fine. But I keep this actually down here for when one of my buddies comes down. He's the one that turned me on to this. Actually, no, I take it back. KMFB turned me on to this, but my buddy, I turned him on to it. Now he's running, crazy with it. So at any rate, but I kept it down here. I looked over it and I'm like, I found this peach tea. Now I live in Georgia. We love everything peach down here. And I thought, peach tea and spiced rum, that could actually work. So what I'm going to do, got my mug here. I'm going to steep this tea and we'll get to the question of the day here. This one is from Gary Owen for Life. Good Cav reference there. If you're in the military history, let me just grab this tea bag here. We'll get it steeping in here a little bit. The question is, will there be any Joe's audiobooks? It's a good question, and I've thought a lot about audiobooks ever since I wrote the first one, actually, back in 2016, 2017 time frame. I'm not a big audiobook guy myself. Like, I don't listen to audiobooks. They kind of bore me. I don't know. I don't know why. It's crazy because I don't have the patience to read much anymore either. I'll read a sentence or two and I'm like, my brain goes elsewhere. I just can't really focus on reading anymore. Writing is hard enough. But I've been thinking about it, and the short answer is I want to do it. But it's a different kind of book. If you're familiar with the Joe's books, if you've read at least the first one or even just the second one, it's a different type of book. It's a series of sort of vignettes, right? Series of little short stories, and it's a little bit different because each of these stories has its own characters. A lot of them are, recurring characters, but you never know which of these Joes are going to pop up into the next story, right? So I think this is steeped up here. Let's put a little Captain Morgan Private Stock Premium Barrel in here. We're not going to measure it. We're just going for, I'd say that's about right. About a shot into the old coffee mug here. Peach tea and Captain Morgan Private Stock Premium Barrel Spiced Rum. Oh man, that is seriously, guys. I know some of you out there right now are like, oh, I'm not making any, hot tea and all this stuff. Like, I'm a coffee guy. I love coffee, right? But I'm telling you, man, this is 2 thumbs up. Okay, peach tea. If you like peach, maybe if you don't like peach, there's probably other flavors that would work. But for some reason, I thought this would work with the peach tea. This has it's sweet, but it's not sickly sweet. Okay, it's warm. It's definitely spicy. It's not, I wouldn't say there's a lot of bite on it, but it's very spicy. And those flavors work with the peach. My buddy nicknamed this Captain Candy because he sits there and sips it on ice. And it's one of the rums that I think would be really great for sipping on ice. So getting back to the audiobooks, I do want to do it. Every year we do this reunion up in Southern Ohio and for Memorial Day weekend. And one of the, I guess it just ended up being a little tradition, is I will read a Joe's story around the campfire, like the bonfire that we have. There's usually, I don't know, 20 of us around the bonfire, the campfire. And I'll read, a story. And I always record them because, and I think I've put a couple of them in the Joe's Facebook group over the past couple of years. So maybe you can fish those up if you want to, if you're on Facebook. But I record them for a couple of reasons. One, it's sort of an implement for me to, well, I guess the first thing is that it sort of preserves the history of me reading it there. And I don't know, I can put it on the Facebook group. But the second one is I like to hear what lines are getting laughs. I mean, there's some times where I write a line and I think, that's going to kill, right? And then I read it and, might get a little chuckle. Everybody may fall out of their chairs laughing. You just never know what line, you think it's funny, but it's also all in the delivery and the setup and the timing and like all of that stuff when you're speaking versus writing, right? People will read it in their own cadence in their mind, and they will devise voices for each of these characters in their mind. The minute you start putting your own voice to them in audio, you're dealing with timing and you're actually sort of acting it out in some cases. So it is different. I think most of the time I think I'm on point with what I think is funny that gets the laughs. But there's some things that totally bomb, and you're like, oh man, it's almost you'd almost rather do the readings of it first before you publish it, because then you could tighten up some spots, But I want to do it. I just don't think it would be. First off, there's going to be no AI, voiceover crap. As good as it's gotten, these stories, they don't work like that. You're not. It's not narrating a novel, right? So it's a little bit different, right? So I don't think that's going to work. Me reading it the way that I do around the campfire is great, but you got to understand something. If I sit here in front of a microphone and I just read you a story, that's not going to hit the same as me standing in front of a bunch of veterans who maybe have read the book, maybe haven't, but I'm telling them these stories and I'm reading. They're reacting, and you can play off of that through the narration. You're essentially, it's not really stand-up comedy, but there's definitely some elements to it. Right? So it's the timing of the audience, right? And the energy level that's there when they're laughing. And you'll hear people, I'll say something, and you'll hear a bunch of laughs. You'll hear somebody in the background say, oh my God, I knew a guy like that. You can't put that in an audiobook like with just me and a microphone. It doesn't work. So I'm trying to figure out how best to approach it. With the volume that I have just in these two books, not even volume 3, the prospect of getting a bunch of veterans together and letting me read these stories, it would have to be done in sessions. I couldn't do it in one sitting. My voice would be gone. They would fall asleep at some point. So I don't know. The answer is, yeah, I want to do it. I just have to figure out kind of the right formula. So, hey, I'm open to suggestions. Oh, man, my God, that's good. I'm sorry, my voice is a little rough still, but this stuff helps. This is good stuff. At any rate, that's about all the time I've got today. Keep it short, guys. You know what? I try to keep these videos as short as possible. But hey, give us a like, a share, a follow, do all the things you're supposed to do on the interwebs, because every book we sell does raise money and awareness for American Gold Star mothers. And remember, guys, if it made sense, it probably wasn't the Army. That's all I got for today. Rampage, we pierce.
Dismissed!